You have been sold a massive lie about human potential. Society tells you to find your passion, to stay positive, and to just believe in yourself. But if that actually worked, you wouldn't be watching this video. You wouldn't feel that quiet, chronic frustration that you are capable of so much more, but somehow stuck in your own head. Here is the harsh neurological truth. Motivation is a myth. Willpower is a finite resource that depletes by 2 p.m. If you are relying on feeling pumped up to change your life, you are fighting against your own biology. But what if you didn't need motivation? What if you could hack your brain's hardware, overriding your lazy instincts, and literally rewire your neurons for elite, unstoppable performance? By the end of this masterclass, you will possess the exact neuroscience protocols to command your neurochemistry, shatter your genetic ceiling, and become the person you were actually built to be. This is not self-help fluff. This is the owner's manual for the 3 pounds of universe sitting between your ears. And once you understand how the machine works, you stop being a passenger in your own life. You become the engineer. So lock in, because the next several minutes will dismantle everything you thought you knew about your own mind and rebuild it from the ground up. This is the video that separates those who stay stuck from those who finally break through. And I want to warn you up front, this is not a casual watch. This is a masterclass. There will be dense science, there will be uncomfortable truths, and there will be actionable protocols. If you are ready to do the work, stay with me. If you are looking for a quick fix, this is not it. But if you want to understand the biological machinery of your own potential, you are in the right place. To understand human potential, we must first destroy the idea that the brain is a fixed, static object. For decades, scientists believed that after childhood, your brain's wiring was permanently set. If you were born with a bad memory, poor focus, or a tendency for anxiety, you were out of luck. That was the dogma. You got the brain you got, and that was the end of the story. This belief, called the fixed brain hypothesis, dominated neuroscience for the better part of a century. It told people that their limitations were permanent, that they could never change, that they were biologically destined to be who they were. But modern neuroscience has completely shattered this. It's called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. Norman Doidge, in his groundbreaking book, The Brain That Changes Itself, proved that the brain is not a machine. It is a living, malleable entity. It is constantly adapting to the stimuli you feed it. Think about that for a second. Your brain is not a computer that came pre-installed with software. It is more like a garden. Whatever you plant grows. Whatever you water flourishes. Whatever you neglect dies. If you scroll TikTok for 3 hours a day, you are physically wiring your brain for a shorter attention span. You are literally pruning the neural branches that support deep focus and growing the weeds of distraction. But here is the empowering flip side. If you understand the mechanics of neuroplasticity, you can deliberately sculpt your brain to achieve almost anything. You can build the neural architecture of discipline, of creativity, of emotional resilience. The only question is, are you doing it on purpose, or are you letting the algorithm do it for you? Because make no mistake, your brain is being rewired every single day. Every experience, every thought, every behavior is shaping your neural landscape. The only variable is who is holding the chisel, you or the notification feed. This is the most important discovery in the history of personal development, and most people have never even heard of it. They walk around thinking they are stuck with the brain they have, when in reality they simply haven't learned how to use the tools to change it. And the tools exist. They are real, they are measurable, and they are about to become yours. The foundational rule of neuroplasticity was discovered in 1949 by a psychologist named Donald Hebb. Hebb's law states simply, neurons that fire together, wire together. This is the single most important sentence you will ever hear about your brain. Every time you repeat a thought, an emotion, or an action, you are strengthening a specific neural pathway. Let me give you an analogy that will reframe your entire life. Imagine walking through a dense, untouched forest. The first time you walk through, there is no path, it's brutal. You have to push through branches, step over roots, and fight through the brush. Your legs burn, your arms get scratched. You're exhausted after just a few meters. The second time you walk that same route, it's slightly easier. Some of the branches are pushed back. The ground is slightly more compact. But by the 100th time, you have carved a massive, clear highway. You can walk it without thinking. You could even run it in the dark. This is exactly how your brain works. When you procrastinate, you are carving the procrastination highway. Every time you choose the easy path, you widen that road. When you force yourself to focus, you carve the focus highway. Every time you sit down and do the hard thing, you widen that road instead. This explains why doing the right thing feels so agonizingly hard at first. You are literally burning new neural pathways in the dense brush of your prefrontal cortex. It physically hurts. Your brain is expending massive amounts of energy to lay down new infrastructure. But here is the beautiful truth. Once the highway is built, focus becomes effortless. Discipline becomes automatic. You aren't naturally lazy. You just built the wrong highways. Now, if you want proof that this is real, look no further than the famous London taxi cab study. To become a licensed black cab driver in London, you must pass a test called the Knowledge. It requires memorizing over 25,000 streets, 20,000 landmarks, and thousands of routes. It takes an average of 3 to 4 years of study to pass. Neuroscientists scan the brains of these taxi drivers before and after their training. What they found was astonishing. The posterior hippocampus, the region responsible for spatial memory and navigation, was physically larger in taxi drivers than in the general population. Their brains had literally grown in response to the demands of their training. The more years they drove, the larger their hippocampus became. This is not a metaphor. This is physical, structural change in the human brain, measured in millimeters, proven in peer-reviewed research. If memorizing streets can grow your brain, what do you think happens when you deliberately train your focus, your discipline, your emotional control? The same mechanism applies. Effort literally changes brain structure, and this is just the beginning. And here is what nobody tells you. The old highways never completely disappear. They just get overgrown. If you stop using the discipline highway and start using the procrastination highway again, the brush grows back quickly. Your brain is always trying to conserve energy. It will always default to the path of least resistance. That is why you must constantly maintain the roads you want to keep. You must be the guardian of your own neural architecture. This is not a one-time fix. This is a lifestyle. But once you understand Hebb's law, you stop blaming yourself for having built bad habits. You are just following the path of least resistance like every other human on the planet. The difference now is that you know how the game works, and you can start building new roads starting today. But how do you direct your focus to build these new highways? This is where things get really interesting. You have a network of neurons in your brainstem called the Reticular Activating System, or the RAS. The RAS is your brain's ultimate bouncer. It is the filter between your conscious mind and the infinite sea of sensory data surrounding you. Every second, millions of pieces of information hit your brain. The temperature of the room, the feeling of your clothes against your skin, the sound of the air conditioning, the objects in your peripheral vision, the subtle shifts in lighting. Your conscious mind cannot process all of this. It would be overwhelming. So the RAS filters out 99.9% of it, only letting through what it deems important to your survival and your goals. You have experienced this. If you buy a red Honda, suddenly you see red Hondas everywhere. They were always there, but your RAS is now programmed to highlight them. You are not seeing more red cars. You are finally noticing what was already there. This is the biological mechanism behind what people call the law of attraction. But it's not magic, it's neuroanatomy. This filter literally shapes your reality. And here is the terrifying part. When you are constantly thinking about how unfair your life is, your RAS filters reality to find evidence that you are a victim. When you believe people are out to get you, your RAS highlights every slight, every criticism, every moment of disrespect. When you believe you are not good enough, your RAS finds proof everywhere. You literally see a different world than someone with a positive mindset. Your reality is not objective. It is curated by your Reticular Activating System. And your RAS is programmed by what you repeatedly focus on. This is why your dominant thoughts matter. They are not just thoughts. They are programming instructions for your reality filter. But here is the empowering flip side. When you deliberately set a goal and write it down every morning, you are programming your RAS to scan the environment for opportunities to achieve that goal. You start noticing the right connections, the right resources, the right timing. You begin to see doors that were always there but invisible to you. You are no longer blind to your own potential. You are consciously directing the spotlight of your reality. This is why goal setting works. Not because the universe is conspiring to help you, but because your brain is now filtering for it. You are telling your bouncer exactly who to let in and who to turn away. So the question is, what are you programming your RAS to look for right now? Are you programming it to find evidence of your inadequacy? Or are you programming it to find evidence of your potential? Because whatever you focus on, your brain will find more of. That is not a motivational quote. That is a biological fact. And if you want to change your life, you must first change what you are telling your brain to look for. Now we must talk about the master molecule of potential, dopamine. But forget everything society told you about dopamine. It is not the reward chemical. It is not the pleasure chemical. That is a gross oversimplification that has destroyed more potential than any other myth in neuroscience. Neuroscientists like Dr. Andrew Huberman have proven that dopamine is actually the craving and drive chemical. It's the molecule that tells your brain, I want that, and I am willing to suffer to get it. Dopamine is the fuel of pursuit. It is the chemical of ambition. It is what makes you get up off the couch and chase something. And here is the paradox that is silently destroying an entire generation. We live in a world engineered to spike your dopamine artificially. Social media, junk food, pornography, video games, streaming platforms, endless scrolling. When you consume these, you get a massive dopamine spike. Your brain is flooded with this chemical. It feels good in the moment. But here is the biological catch. Your brain always tries to maintain a dopamine baseline. It wants homeostasis. It wants balance. If you spike it to 150%, it will crash down to 50% to balance out. That crash is the empty, unmotivated, hollow feeling you get after scrolling for 2 hours. That is the feeling of watching your potential evaporate. By consuming cheap dopamine, you are chemically bankrupting your potential. You are destroying the biological fuel required to achieve hard things. You are stealing from your future self to feed your present self. And the worst part is that the cycle compounds. When your baseline drops, you feel bad. And what do you do when you feel bad? You reach for more cheap dopamine. You scroll more. You eat more. You watch more. And the baseline drops even lower. This is the trap. This is the cage that keeps billions of people stuck in mediocrity. They are not lazy. They are dopamine depleted. They have burned out their own reward circuitry by feeding it garbage. Dr. Anna Lemke, author of Dopamine Nation and chief of the Stanford Addiction Medicine Dual Diagnosis Clinic, has documented this phenomenon extensively. She explains that the modern world is a dopamine minefield. Every app, every product, every platform is engineered to extract your attention by exploiting your dopamine system. The infinite scroll feature was modeled after slot machines. Every pull of the refresh lever gives you a variable reward, sometimes nothing, sometimes something interesting. This variability is the most potent trigger for dopamine release. It is the same mechanism that keeps gamblers at the table, and it is in your pocket right now. These companies have hired teams of neuroscientists to make their products as addictive as possible. They are not building tools, they are building cages, and you are the product. But here is the good news. This is reversible. You can reset your dopamine baseline. But you have to understand the mechanism before you can fix it. You have to understand that every cheap dopamine hit is a withdrawal from your future potential. And you have to learn how to reinvest that dopamine into things that actually move you forward. This is not about willpower. This is about chemistry. And once you understand the chemistry, you can start making better trades. You can start trading cheap dopamine for earned dopamine. And that is where the real transformation begins. And if decoding these elite biological protocols is what you're looking for, make sure you're subscribed to Mind Connect, because we go this deep every single week. Now, here is the secret that separates the top 1% from the rest of the world. Elite performers do not chase dopamine through rewards. They attach dopamine to effort itself. This was proven by neuroscientist Dr. Robert Sapolsky. In his research on monkeys, he found something absolutely fascinating. Dopamine levels peak not when the reward is received, but right before the reward is given, when the effort is at its highest. The anticipation of the reward, the pursuit of the goal, the struggle itself, that is what generates the highest dopamine response, not the finish line, the race. This is a complete reframe of everything we are taught about motivation. We are taught to focus on the reward. Work hard now, and you will get the reward later. Delayed gratification. But the neuroscience shows that the real juice is in the work itself. The elite mind learns to enjoy the friction. When you are working out or studying or building a business, and you feel that wave of exhaustion, you normally quit. That is the signal your brain sends that says, "This is too hard, stop." But if you consciously tell yourself, "This pain is the feeling of my brain growing," you begin to release dopamine in response to effort. You are literally rewiring your reward circuitry. You are teaching your brain that the struggle itself is the reward. And when you do that, you become biologically addicted to hard work. You start to crave the burn. You start to seek out the difficulty. You hack your own reward circuitry to serve your potential instead of sabotaging it. This is not about being a masochist. It is about understanding that the dopamine released during effort is cleaner, more sustainable, and more deeply satisfying than any cheap dopamine hit you can get from a screen. The pleasure of accomplishment is deeper than the pleasure of consumption. But you have to train your brain to recognize this. You have to consciously shift your internal narrative. The next time you feel that urge to quit, that wave of resistance, that moment of friction, do not run from it. Lean into it. Tell yourself that this is the exact moment where growth happens. This is the moment where you separate yourself from the 99%. This is the moment where you earn your future. And watch what happens. Watch how the resistance transforms into fuel. Watch how the pain becomes pleasure. This is the secret of the elite. And now it is yours, but there is a catch. You cannot just think your way into this. You have to practice it. You have to catch yourself in the moment of quitting and consciously reframe. It will feel forced at first, fake. unnatural, that is okay. You are building a new neural pathway. Remember Hebb's law, neurons that fire together, wire together. Every time you consciously associate effort with reward, you strengthen that connection. And over time, it becomes automatic. You become a person who craves hard things. And that is a superpower that no one can take from you. But there is a silent enemy inside your head sabotaging this entire process. It's called the default mode network, or the DMN. This is the part of your brain that is most active when you are doing nothing. When you are engaged in a task, the task positive network lights up. You are focused, present, and engaged. But the moment you stop, the moment your task ends, the moment you have a spare second, the task positive network shuts off and the DMN turns on. The DMN is the brain's resting state, but it's also the home of the monkey mind. It's the voice in your head that overthinks, regrets the past, and worries about the future. It is the narrator of your suffering. When you have no clear focus, the DMN takes over, pulling you into a state of chronic anxiety and self-doubt. It replays old conversations. It imagines worst-case scenarios. It creates problems that don't exist. It is the source of rumination. It is the engine of regret. It is the factory of fear. This is why doing nothing is actually more exhausting than doing hard work. Your brain is not resting when the DMN is active. It is spinning. It is burning energy on worry and rumination. It is running a simulation of every possible threat, every past mistake, every future failure. The DMN generates what neuroscientists call limbic friction, the resistance you feel when trying to start a new habit. It is the voice that says, just 5 more minutes. It is the feeling of heaviness when you think about going to the gym. It is the mental fog that appears when you try to focus. To unlock your potential, you don't just need to work hard. You need to actively suppress the default mode network. You need to starve the monkey mind. And the only way to do that is to give your brain a task. The DMN cannot survive alongside focused attention. When you are deeply engaged in something, the task-positive network dominates, and the DMN goes quiet. This is why work is actually a form of therapy. This is why people who are deeply engaged in meaningful work report less anxiety and depression. They are literally silencing the voice of self-doubt by giving their brain something better to do. So the next time you feel that mental chatter, that anxiety spiral, that monkey mind, do not try to think your way out of it. You cannot outthink the DMN. It is the thinker. Instead, give your brain a task, any task, focus on something. Engage the task-positive network, and watch the DMN shut up. This is not a psychological trick. It is a neurological reality. The brain cannot be in 2 states at once. You are either focused or you are ruminating. The choice is yours. And the moment you choose focus, you take back control of your mind. Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett, one of the world's leading neuroscientists, introduced a radical concept that changes everything. The body budget, also known as allostasis. Your brain isn't just a thinking organ, it's an accountant. It constantly calculates the energy required to keep you alive. Every heartbeat, every breath, every cell division, all of it costs energy. And your brain's primary job is not to make you happy or successful. Its primary job is to keep you alive. It is a metabolic accountant that tracks every calorie in and every calorie out. It monitors your glucose levels, your hydration, your sleep quality, your stress hormones. And it makes predictions about the future based on this data. And here is the revolutionary refrain. When you feel unmotivated, it's not a character flaw. It's not a moral failing. It's your brain's accountant looking at your low energy reserves, poor sleep, bad diet, high stress, chronic inflammation, and slamming the brakes. It literally refuses to release dopamine because it fears you will run out of energy and die. Your brain would rather keep you alive and mediocre than risk death for greatness. This is not a bug. It is a feature. It is survival, but it means that you cannot outthink a bankrupt body. You cannot willpower your way through a biology that is running on empty. If your sleep is garbage, your brain will never let you access your full potential. If your diet is inflammation-inducing, your brain will keep you in a fog. If your stress is chronic, your brain will keep you in survival mode. Human potential is not just a psychological game, it is a physiological budget. You must earn the right to operate at a high level by balancing your body's chemical budget first. This is why the fundamentals matter. Sleep is not for the weak. Nutrition is not optional. Stress management is not a luxury. These are the foundational deposits into your body budget that allow you to make withdrawals in the form of focus, creativity, and drive. You cannot skip the fundamentals and expect elite performance. Your biology is the ceiling on your psychology. Fix the body, and the mind follows. Ignore the body, and the mind fights you every step of the way. This is the missing piece that most self-improvement content completely ignores. They tell you to think positive, to visualize success, to manifest your dreams. But none of that works if your body budget is in deficit. You have to fix the hardware before you can install the software. So before you ask yourself why you are unmotivated, ask yourself, how have I been treating my body? Because the answer is in your biology, not your psychology. And if you are ready to fix the hardware, let's talk about the single most important deposit you can make into your body budget: sleep. If there is one thing you take away from this masterclass, it should be this: sleep is the single most powerful performance-enhancing tool you have, and you are probably not getting enough of it. Let me explain what actually happens in your brain during sleep. Sleep is not a passive state. It is an active biological process. During the night, your brain cycles through different stages of sleep, each with a specific function. There are two main types: slow-wave sleep and REM sleep. Slow-wave sleep, also called deep sleep, is when your brain consolidates factual information and motor skills. It is when the day's learning is transferred from short-term to long-term memory. It is when your brain physically rewires itself. REM sleep, on the other hand, is when your brain processes emotions. It is when you dream. It is when your brain integrates experiences and makes sense of the world. Both are essential for peak performance. But here is what most people don't know. During slow-wave sleep, your brain activates something called the glymphatic system. This is a waste clearance system that literally washes toxins out of your brain. During the day, your brain accumulates metabolic waste products, including a protein called beta amyloid, which is associated with Alzheimer's disease. During deep sleep, the glymphatic system flushes these toxins out, cleaning your brain for the next day. This is why sleep deprivation feels like being poisoned. Because it literally is. You are walking around with a brain full of metabolic waste, and this waste impairs your focus, your memory, your emotional regulation, and your decision-making. You are not just tired, you are intoxicated. The research is clear. Chronic sleep deprivation is one of the fastest ways to destroy your body budget and kill your potential. Dr. Matthew Walker, author of Why We Sleep and professor of neuroscience at UC Berkeley, has shown that after just one night of poor sleep, your ability to focus drops dramatically, your emotional reactivity spikes, and your immune system weakens. And the effects compound. If you are consistently sleeping less than 7 hours a night, you are operating at a fraction of your capacity. You are not even aware of it because the brain's self-assessment is also impaired. So what can you do? Here are 3 evidence-based sleep protocols. First, view morning sunlight within 30 minutes of waking. This sets your circadian clock and signals to your brain that the day has begun. Second, keep your room cool, around 18 to 19 degrees Celsius. Your body needs to drop its core temperature to enter deep sleep. Third, avoid screens at least 1 hour before bed. The blue light from screens suppresses melatonin, the sleep hormone. These are simple interventions, but they are incredibly powerful. Sleep is not a luxury. It is the foundation of human potential. And if you are not sleeping well, nothing else in this masterclass will work as effectively as it should. Fix your sleep, and you fix your biology. Fix your biology, and you unlock your potential. When you balance the budget, suppress the DMN, and attach dopamine to effort, you gain access to the ultimate human state, flow. Popularized by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, flow is that state of complete absorption where time disappears. You have felt it. It is that moment when you look up from your work and realize 3 hours have passed in what felt like 15 minutes. It is the state where your best work happens. It is the state where athletes break records, artists create masterpieces, and entrepreneurs have breakthrough ideas. But what actually happens in the brain during flow? Neuroscientist Arne Dietrich discovered the answer. It's called transient hypofrontality. Hypo means less. Frontality refers to the prefrontal cortex. In flow, the analytical, overthinking part of your brain literally powers down. Your inner critic is biologically shut off. The voice of self-doubt goes silent. The part of your brain that worries about what others think, that second-guesses your decisions, that hesitates, it all goes offline. Your brain shifts from slow, energy-intensive beta waves to fast, fluid alpha and theta waves. You are no longer trying to perform. The performance is happening through you. You are not thinking about the next move. You are just making it. But flow is not a random occurrence. It follows a predictable 4-stage cycle. Understanding this cycle is the key to accessing flow more consistently. Stage 1 is the struggle. This is where you are pushing through resistance. You are learning something new. You are forcing your brain to engage. It feels uncomfortable. Most people quit here. They don't realize that the struggle is not a sign of failure. It is the necessary precondition for flow. The struggle is where your brain is loading the problem into working memory. It is the biological equivalent of cranking an engine. Stage 2 is release. This is where you step back, you take a walk, you take a shower, you stop forcing it. Your brain shifts from the focused beta state into the relaxed alpha state. This is where insight happens. This is why your best ideas come in the shower. Stage 3 is flow. This is where everything clicks. You are fully absorbed. Time disappears. Your performance peaks. This is the reward for pushing through the struggle and allowing the release. Stage 4 is recovery. This is where you consolidate. Your brain refills its neurotransmitter stores. You rest and recover, and then you start the cycle again. Most people never experience flow consistently because they quit during the struggle. They don't understand that the discomfort is temporary and that it is the gateway to peak performance. If you can learn to tolerate the struggle, to push through the limbic friction, you will access flow more often. And flow is not just about productivity. It is about living at the edge of your capacity. It is about becoming the fullest expression of who you are. That is the real human potential. Not just doing more, but being more, fully alive, fully engaged, fully present. That is what we are all chasing. And now you know the science behind it. But what about genetics? What if you just weren't born with the gifts to be elite? What if your DNA has already determined your limits? This is the excuse that keeps millions of people stuck, but it is based on outdated science. This brings us to epigenetics. For decades, we believed DNA was destiny. You got the genes you got, and that was the end of the story. But the field of epigenetics proves that your genes are not a fixed blueprint. They are a piano. Your environment, your thoughts, your behaviors, and your stress levels are the hands playing the keys. You can have a gene for anxiety, or a gene for obesity, or a gene for addiction. but it remains completely dormant unless the environment signals it to turn on. Your lifestyle choices literally control which genes are expressed and which genes are silenced. This is not pseudoscience. This is peer-reviewed, Nobel Prize-winning research. Bruce Lipton's book, The Biology of Belief, proves that your perception of your environment actually alters your genetic expression. When you deliberately expose yourself to acute stress, like a cold shower, an intense workout, or public speaking, you are sending a chemical signal to your DNA to upregulate genes for resilience and focus. You are literally altering your genetic destiny through your daily actions. Conversely, when you live a sedentary, high-stress, poor-diet lifestyle, you are upregulating genes for inflammation, disease, and mental decline. You are not a victim of your genes. You are the conductor of their expression. This is the most empowering discovery in modern biology. Your genetics are the floor, but your environment is the ceiling. You may not be able to change the hand you were dealt, but you can absolutely change how you play it. And the research shows that environment and behavior play a far larger role in outcomes than most people realize. Studies on identical twins who share the exact same DNA show that they can have completely different health outcomes, personality traits, and even brain structures based on their lifestyle choices. Same genes, different expression, different lives. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "I just wasn't born for this," stop. That is a lie your brain is telling you to protect you from the discomfort of effort. The truth is that you were born with a genetic potential, and it is up to you to express it. Every cold shower, every workout, every moment of deliberate discomfort is a signal to your DNA to become more resilient. Every scroll session, every junk food binge, every day without movement is a signal to your DNA to break down. The choice is literally written into your biology, and you are making it every single day, whether you realize it or not. This is not about blame. It is about power. You have more control over your genetic expression than you ever thought possible. And that control starts with the choices you make today. So how do we apply this? How do we actually rewire the brain starting today? Enough theory. Let's get practical. Hack number 1, the visual target protocol. Your eyes are not just for seeing, they are a direct extension of your brain. They are the only part of your brain that is exposed to the outside world, and the way you use them has a massive impact on your nervous system. When you look straight ahead and narrow your eyes into a focused gaze, your visual system sends a signal to your brainstem that activates the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response. Your alertness spikes, your heart rate increases, your pupils dilate, your focus sharpens. When you look downward and have a panoramic, soft gaze, it triggers parasympathetic calm. Your body relaxes. Your alertness drops. Your mind wanders. This is why when you are unmotivated, you stare at the floor. Your posture and your gaze are literally putting your brain into a low arousal state. To hack this, tomorrow morning before you start working, pick one visual target, a dot on a wall, a specific object on your desk, anything. Stare at it intensely for 60 seconds without breaking focus. Do not blink if you can help it. Narrow your visual field. Focus all your attention on that single point. You are using your visual system to artificially inject adrenaline into your system. You are waking up the task-positive network. You are forcing the DMN into submission. This is not a meditation exercise. This is not a mindfulness practice. This is a biological hack. You are hijacking the neural circuitry that connects your eyes to your brainstem and using it to shift your state. Elite athletes do this before competitions. Special forces operators do this before missions. And now you can do it before your workday. 60 seconds, one target, full focus. Try it and watch what happens. You will feel a shift. Your brain will snap to attention. and you will be ready to attack your work instead of avoiding it. This is the first protocol, and it takes less than a minute, but the effect is profound. It is the fastest way to shift from a state of avoidance to a state of engagement. It is the biological equivalent of flipping a switch. And once you flip that switch, you are ready for the next protocol. Hack number 2, the 90-minute ultradian rhythm. Your brain does not operate on a 24-hour clock alone. It operates on 90-minute cycles called ultradian rhythms. You have a natural peak of cognitive focus, followed by a necessary dip. This is not a choice. It is biology. Your brain cannot sustain high-level focus for 8 hours straight. It needs breaks. It needs recovery. And the research is clear on this. Elite performers do not work 8 hours straight. They work in one hyper-focused 90-minute block. During this block, you must remove all friction. Phone in another room. Tabs closed. No music with lyrics. No notifications. No interruptions. This is sacred time. You will experience friction in the first 5 to 10 minutes. Your DMN will scream at you to check your phone. Your brain will generate 1,000 reasons to get up and do something else. This is the limbic friction. This is the test. Do not negotiate with it. Do not give it an inch. Push through. By minute 15, the prefrontal cortex locks in and you drop into a state of deep work. By minute 30, you are fully engaged. By minute 60, you are producing your best work. By minute 90, you are spent. And that is exactly when you should stop. Do not push to 120 minutes. Do not try to be a hero. If you push past the natural dip, you are borrowing from your next day's body budget. You are depleting resources that your brain needs to recover. After 90 minutes, you must stop. Step away from your desk. Look at a horizon. Let your eyes soften. Let your brain enter the DMN to consolidate the learning. This is not laziness. This is biological necessity. The consolidation phase is when your brain actually wires the new connections. The work you did during the focus block is only half the equation. The rest happens during rest. So treat your rest as seriously as your work. Schedule it. Protect it. And then when you are recovered, do another 90-minute block. This is how elite performers structure their day. Not by working longer, but by working in alignment with their biology. Quality over quantity. Depth over duration. This is the second protocol, and it will transform your productivity more than any productivity app ever could, because you are not fighting your biology. You are working with it. Hack number 3, non-sleep deep rest, or NSDR. This is the ultimate cheat code for neuroplasticity, and almost nobody knows about it. Doing the work is only 50% of the equation. The other 50% is the rewiring process, which happens during sleep and deep rest. You cannot skip this step. If you work hard but do not rest properly, you are leaving half of your potential on the table. Stanford University research shows that doing a 10 to 20-minute NSDR protocol, essentially a guided body scan or yoga nidra, immediately after a 90-minute focus block accelerates neuroplasticity by up to 50%. 50%. That is not a marginal improvement. That is a massive leap in your ability to learn, adapt, and grow. Here is how it works. When you lie still and guide your attention to different parts of your body, your brain shifts from high beta waves down to slow theta waves. Theta is the exact brainwave state where the brain rapidly wires new neural connections. It is the state of deep meditation. It is the state of hypnosis. It is the state where your brain is most plastic, most malleable, most open to change. You are literally hardwiring the skills you just learned while lying completely still. You turn your resting state into a supercomputer. This is not just a nice relaxation exercise. This is a targeted intervention to accelerate your brain's ability to rewire itself. There are free NSDR scripts on YouTube. There are apps that guide you through it. Find one that works for you and use it after every focus block. 10 to 20 minutes. That is all it takes, and the effects are cumulative. Over time, you will learn faster, retain more, and adapt more quickly than you ever thought possible. This is the protocol that elite athletes and top executives are using to gain an edge, and now it is yours. This is the third protocol, and it is perhaps the most underutilized tool in all of personal development. Most people are so focused on doing more that they forget the importance of resting deeply. But the science is clear. Rest is not the absence of work. It is the completion of work. And if you skip it, you are leaving gains on the table. Hack number 4, deliberate stress inoculation. We have been taught that stress is the enemy, that we should avoid it at all costs. That relaxation is the goal, but biology shows that this is dangerously incomplete. Acute, short-term stress is the greatest trigger for growth. It is the signal your body needs to adapt and become stronger. The stress hormone cortisol, when released in chronic, low-grade amounts, like worrying about an email or doom scrolling at midnight or living in a state of constant low-level anxiety, destroys the brain. It shrinks the hippocampus. It impairs memory. It damages your ability to regulate emotions. It keeps you in a state of perpetual fight or flight. But when cortisol is released in massive, acute bursts, like a 3-minute freezing ice bath or a 20-second maximal sprint or a hard workout, it acts as a fertilizer for neuroplasticity. It forces your brain to adapt. It tells your system, that was hard. We need to get better at handling that. And your biology responds by upregulating resilience. This is the principle behind hormesis, the idea that what doesn't kill you literally makes you stronger at the cellular level. By voluntarily subjecting yourself to acute physical stress, you are training your prefrontal cortex to remain calm when the body panics. You are building an emotional armor. You are expanding your capacity to handle discomfort. When life throws an unexpected tragedy at you, and it will, your nervous system recognizes the pattern. It doesn't break down because you have already practiced surviving the storm in a controlled environment. You are inoculating your mind against chaos. This is why cold showers work. This is why hard workouts matter beyond just the physical benefits. This is why putting yourself in uncomfortable situations is not just character building, it is neurological training. It is building the neural pathways of resilience. It is teaching your brain that discomfort is not a threat. It is a signal to grow. Start small. Take a 30-second cold shower. Do a 20-second sprint. Hold a plank for 1 minute longer than you want to. Do something that makes you uncomfortable every single day. Not because you enjoy it, but because you know it is building the neural infrastructure for resilience. This is the 4th protocol, and it is the one that will prepare you for the inevitable storms of life, because life will test you. It will throw challenges at you, and when it does, you will either break or adapt. The choice is made now in the small moments of deliberate stress that you choose to face. Choose to face them. Build the armor. Prepare for the storm. And when it comes, you will stand strong. Before we bring this all together, we need to talk about something uncomfortable. You are going to fail. You are going to relapse. You are going to have days where you scroll for 3 hours, eat garbage, skip your workout, and feel like a complete fraud. This is not a possibility. It is a certainty. And how you handle these moments of failure will determine whether you ultimately succeed or stay stuck. Most people respond to failure with shame. They beat themselves up. They call themselves lazy, undisciplined, weak. And then they wonder why they can't seem to get back on track. Here is the neuroscience. Shame triggers the release of cortisol. High cortisol further depletes your already low dopamine. It puts your brain into survival mode. It activates the DMN, which floods you with negative self-talk. In other words, shame makes it harder to recover. It is a neurological trap. You mess up, you feel shame, your biology gets worse, and you mess up again. This is the cycle that keeps people stuck for years. The alternative is self-compassion, not self-indulgence, not making excuses. Self-compassion, when you treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend who is struggling, something remarkable happens in your brain. Self-compassion activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It lowers cortisol. It restores your body budget. It quiets the dopamine. It allows your brain to recover faster. And when your brain recovers, you can get back to work. Research by Dr. Kristin Neff, one of the world's leading experts on self-compassion, shows that people who practice self-compassion are more resilient, more motivated, and more likely to achieve their goals than people who rely on harsh self-criticism. The reason is simple. Kindness restores the biological resources you need to keep going. Shame depletes them. So when you relapse, and you will, do not shame yourself. Instead, acknowledge what happened. Identify the trigger, ask yourself what you can learn from it, and then restart your protocol. Recommit to the 90-minute block. Recommit to the visual target. Recommit to the effort-driven reward. This is not about being perfect. It is about being consistent over time. The people who succeed are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who fail and get back up faster. They are the ones who refuse to let shame keep them down. They are the ones who understand that relapse is part of the process, not a sign of failure. So give yourself permission to be human. Give yourself permission to struggle, and then get back to work. Because the only true failure is staying down. So here is the synthesis of human potential. You are not a victim of your genetics, your past, or your environment. You are the architect of your own neural hardware. Every choice you make is either carving a path to mediocrity or building a highway to elite performance. Every scroll is a vote for the person you used to be. Every focused block is a vote for the person you are becoming. Every cheap dopamine hit is a withdrawal from your future. Every moment of deliberate friction is a deposit. The science is clear. Neuroplasticity means your brain can change. Hebb's law means your habits shape your neural architecture. The RAS means your focus shapes your reality. The dopamine system means your effort can become your reward. The DMN means you must give your brain a task. The body budget means your biology is your foundation. Flow means peak performance is accessible to you. Epigenetics means your genes are not your destiny. The protocols are proven. Visual target, 90-minute blocks. NSDR, stress inoculation, sleep architecture, self-compassion. These are not theories, they are tools, and they are now in your hands. The only variable left is you. When you stop chasing cheap dopamine, when you starve the default mode network, when you learn to attach joy to the friction of effort, you transcend the limits society placed on you. You shift from living reactively to living deliberately. You stop waiting for motivation to strike like lightning, and instead, you become the storm. You stop asking for permission and start taking command. You become the architect of your own biology. The potential has always been inside the wiring. It was just waiting for you to turn the power on. This is not a pep talk. This is a call to action. You now know more about your brain than 99% of the population. You know how neuroplasticity works. You know how dopamine drives you. You know how the RAS filters your reality. You know how the DMN sabotages you. You know how to earn flow. You know how to express your best genes. You know how to recover from failure. The question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Are you going to watch another video, feel inspired for 10 minutes and then go back to your old patterns? Or are you going to implement? Are you going to take the visual target protocol and use it tomorrow morning? Are you going to structure your day around 90-minute blocks? Are you going to prioritize NSDR? Are you going to seek out deliberate stress? Are you going to fix your sleep? Because knowledge without action is just entertainment. And you did not come here for entertainment. You came here for transformation. So transform. Start now, not tomorrow, not Monday. Now, the path is clear. The science is settled. The only thing standing between you and your potential is the decision to begin. I want you to go to the comments right now and type the words, "I will rewire." Type it. Claim it. Make a public commitment to yourself. Stop letting your environment and cheap dopamine dictate your life. Stop waiting for permission to become who you were meant to be. If this masterclass shifted the way you see your own brain, this is exactly what Mind Connect is here for. We decode the elite neuroscience of human performance so you can build a mind that cannot be broken. We go this deep every single week. This is not surface-level content. This is the operating system for your brain. Hit like if you made it to the end. Subscribe for more deep dives into the science of human potential. And share this with someone who is tired of being average and is ready to unlock their true potential. They need to hear this the most. You know who they are. Send it to them. Be the catalyst for their transformation. And remember, the brain you have today is not the brain you have to live with tomorrow. You have the power to change it. You have the tools to rewire it. You have the science to back it up. Now go do the work. I will see you.